Hello learners, welcome to NeenvIAS. We are discussing science and technology PYQ for mains, right? And the topic is space technology. So let us see the question. The question came in 2019. It says, what is India's plan to have its own space station and how will it benefit our space program? So 150 were 10 marks. Now the answer that I bought is quite, let's say, elaborative, but it's a model answer, and of course it has extra content, so that let's say indirectly something like this comes for 15 marks. So you will have enough content, right? So let us understand the question. It's a straightforward one, and if you want, you can add challenges to make the answer wholesome. I have bought it in a written format. You can use a diagram to show the challenges just for the sake of putting it there. So it will give a wholesome, it will give a sense of wholesome answer. So what is the blueprint? You briefly introduce India's plan. Then what is the plan itself? Then benefit to India's space program. You discuss the scientific, technological, strategic, economic benefits. Challenges, of course, these are extra things if you want to do, right? Value addition. Critically examine the financial, technological, logistical, geopolitical challenges. Then way forward, you suggest the steps to overcome these challenges, including international collaboration, private sector involvement, public engagement. And finally, you conclude by strategic importance of the space station project and its potential to position India as a leading space power, right? Because creating a space station is a huge responsibility, and international space station is also retiring in the next decade. So we'll see the importance, okay? So in the introduction, you tell that the development of Bharatiya Antarik Station will be by 2035 and it will be independent. It will be India's own initiative. So the scope is basically it will orbit 400 kilometers above the Earth and it will host astronauts for up to 20 days. So they will do a lot of tests in there, like on microgravity and everything. So it marks a milestone in India's space exploration because it shows that India's power and ambition both are growing. Prowess basically also includes the capability. Now, India's space station plan, what is that? So first, preparatory missions and training. That means before launching the actual thing, you need to prepare, and that where it is the that's where we connect the Gaganyaan mission, which is the manned space flight. The learnings from manned space flight will be used in this project. So tests like life support test, spacecraft re-entry test, space docking, right? So docking means when two aircrafts connect and there is transfer of man and material. Astronaut training, rigorous preparation is needed because of and of course physical, conditional, technological training and emergency response, because in space you have no other chance. Once things go wrong, you have to do things in a very specific way and without panicking. If you have seen the movie Gravity, you will understand that, right? So all these training need to be given, and of course the standard of training is also required. Otherwise, if you give a substandard training, of course they will whenever the issue will come, they will not be appropriately be able to respond. Next is development and assembly. See, space station will not be just sent like this, okay? The space station will be assembled in the orbit. Small parts will be sent from the Earth and then it will be assembled over there. So we need a lot of robotic assistance also, right? So modules will be launched individually and sent in the orbit 400 kilometers. Now in the operational phase, it will work for let's say around 5 to 10 years, and it will focus on science more than the tourism. Or basically it will not focus on tourism at all. It will focus on the exploration and scientific research. Next is space station characteristics. See, it will be around 400 kilometers like I mentioned. 20 days it will host people. 2035 is the launch year. It will have mass around 52 tons and accommodate 3 to 4 astronauts at one time. Next, modules and docking. The space station will have multiple modules. They will be connected with each other, right? It will have a common berthing mechanism. That means it will have a common linking mechanism. It will feature a permanently docked safety crew module escape system. So it will have a permanent escape system. Let's say something goes wrong, you go to that room and then you launch yourself towards the Earth. I understand this might become a little technical, but you can easily ignore things. I am giving you answer for a 15 marker also. What is the benefit? Next section is benefits to India's space program. First is scientific research. The spacecraft will, or the basically it is a spacecraft. The the BAS will focus on microgravity experiments so that we understand how things behave in microgravity. That will help us when we send humans to Moon or Mars or Venus. We have a plan for Venus also, right? So microgravity experiments will be there. Long duration experiments in field like material science, like creating new materials, testing new materials, biological medicine, physics. For example, how proteins develop in space will help us in creating vaccines also, right? Climate studies. NASA through its satellites and space station conducts the climate studies, like how Earth is changing and all. So that will, if we put our own station, that will help us also. That will help us also in climate studies. Extended research, because Gaganyaan will have few day. Basically, it will have lesser duration than the space station. So it will enable more experiments, and long effect of long-term space travel will be noticed on the human body. Next is technological advancements. Second benefit is technological advancements. Since a lot of technology will be developed in India, it will lead to development of indigenous industry. India's space market, right, or industry is poised to grow to billions of dollars, more than $40 billion in the next 2-3 decades, right? Innovation will be done and spin-offs will come. For example, MRI, although was discovered and created by somebody else, but NASA improved it because it also needed that technology. So such things will happen also with this. International prestige, like of course, the respect that India gains because of the technology, that will help us get into a lot of commercial projects or agreements with the countries. Right now also, we launch satellites of many countries, so that gives us money also and international prestige also, and this will put us in on a pedestal, right? Even NASA has agreed to collaborate with ISRO on the space station project. Strategic influence. See, it will bolster India's position in global space politics and enhance its prestige, of course, because globally, if we see Russia is being isolated, and funding challenges are there in US and Europe. So India's presence will give us a strong hold, right? Space economy. For example, I mentioned that it is going to rise around 44 billion in the next decade. So commercial investments will increase, and it will obviously lead to some or the other form of employment, definitely, right? There is no doubt about it. It will generate revenue by launching other satellites, and maybe, let's say, allowing other countries to go and research. Employment generation, we have discussed this. Defense needs. Right now we use GSAT 7 for our defense needs, but if we have a working space station, it will be able to track things in our vicinity, our borders, more carefully, right? And that is also a benefit. Inspiration and education. Many people miss this point. This is very important because we need kids to be motivated for science rather than making reels, right? Reels will not contribute to the development of the world, right? So please understand that inspiration is an important part. It will inspire future generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers. Educational outreach, it promotes scientific literacy, because people, when they're curious, they will ask their parents, Papa, what does this mean? Mom, what does this mean, right? So educational curiosity will be awakened, and people will be motivated more for STEM careers, right? Next is challenges and constraints. We'll quickly go through it. I'll not explain much because this is an additional point. You can pause the slide and read it, right? Obviously money, because I told you Gaganyaan project is itself a 10,000 crore project. This will be much more than that, and after investing 10,000 crore, it will be a challenge to invest more. It will be a challenge, it's not impossible. Technological development is there because significant R&D needs to be done. Enhancing GSLV Mark 3 to 8 tons is very important. Space debris risk, it is see, low Earth orbit has a lot of debris, right? Lot of species are flying around. Everything is tracked, almost everything is tracked, but still it's a risk. Human resource and expertise is required, because if you want to create a space station, It's one of the most technologically challenging things that can be done by any country, even USA. Even International Space Station is a collaboration. So training and skill development is very important, and it will need a lot of money and constant constant policy support. Next is logistical and operational challenges. Because you have to assemble this in space, we would need a lot of new technology which we really don't have right now. Long-term sustainability. Of course, you will put up something over there and then you have to repair it also. If something happens, you have to repair it. So you have to train your astronauts to repair the spacecraft also. Next is international collaboration and competition. Because although partnership will be there, right? But if you do lot of partnership, then how will you maintain your autonomy? So we have discussed some benefits, but how will you ensure that you only get those benefits? But then again, if you don't collaborate, you don't get some technology. So it's a thin line and it's a balance that India has to maintain. Global competition, because things like we launch right now, we launch satellites, so we are competing with other countries also. So similar manner, we will be competing with other countries. Geopolitical issues, managing the implication of space station development, we will need to handle that also. People will want basically India to take sides, what I mean to say. Public support. Now again, this is one important point which people forget, that spending so much money when you have so much poor people in the country will require public awareness, like why it is important to do this. So the government needs to create public awareness, and then people will understand and maybe support this also. So what is the way forward? International collaboration should be there, but also involve private sector. You invest in human space flight programs, but the investment should be continuous. It should not change after the government change. Public engagement, like I've discussed, awareness needs to be created, right? So in conclusion, it's a visionary step to develop own space station, right? And a significant step in exploration journey. Like Interstellar has also motivated people to study the STEM careers. Inspiration and growth, the station will enhance capabilities, inspire the next generation, secure India's place in global space arena. Future impact, Honorable Prime Minister Modi has said that the increasing space economy will foster scientific temperament among youth, marking a new era of exploration and innovation. So again, a big conclusion. I've given you a lot of points, loads of points. You don't need to search anything else on this topic. Pick up whatever you can, remember whatever you can, and write this in your mock test. All right. So that is all for this question. Thank you.